Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We know you can't wait to see our startups and alumni, our universal changemakers. But first, let me introduce our CEO and co-founder of HighTechXL and greatest example for our changemakers, Mr. Guus Frericks.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. What a wonderful day. 70 degrees. Warm outside, warmest day of the year so far. And this is going to be a flaming hot event. I guarantee you that. I'm on fire. I've been waiting so long again for this event, and I'm always amazed to see so many people showing up, especially on this wonderful day. Because you could have been sitting outside in the sun, you didn't, you chose to be here, and rightfully so. Quick recap on our mission. The clicker is not working. Clicker gate again, Mark. There we go. Our mission since 2013 has been totally clear and stable. We want to contribute to turning Eindhoven into the high-tech hardware capital of the world. Back in 2013, we defined some very aggressive goals. We want to accelerate 100 tech companies. And to be realistic, not all of them will succeed. It's very tough. 90% in general doesn't succeed. And our goal is, and that is the only metrics which really matters, we want to have 20 to 30 fast-growing companies in this region. Success rate in terms of starting up, scaling up, and make it big, between 20 and 30%. That's what we are doing. I came across this quote of Murdoch, and I think he is right. The battle is not so much the big guys versus the small ones. That's not so relevant. It's all about fast versus slow. And that holds for both corporate environments as well as startup environments. And that is what we're going to address today. Startups all over the place. 3 weeks ago I was in China. It's incredible what is happening there. 15,000 new companies created every single day. Last year alone in China, over 2,000 accelerator and incubator programs launched. That's more than in the entire rest of the world. But rest assured, I think we are better. We are ahead of the game. The fact is, we are outnumbered a bit when it comes down to China. At the same time, there's a counter side to this fast-moving market. A lot of companies are in distress. A lot of individuals are struggling with keeping up the pace. And this is an example. This is a Dutch telco. Annual revenue declined steeply since 2010. Now let me ask you, what happened in 2010? Shout out. WhatsApp. Boom. SMS business completely gone. And that's terrifying. Banking industry. We all know the headlines. Digitalization, blockchain. It's happening, and it has a tremendous impact. Our partner, EY, looking at University of Oxford study, there is a 94% chance that most of the tasks being carried out today by EY is going to be totally automated, robotized. Now think about this. That means on a global basis, 200,000 employees. And then this is heading in the direction of their company. I said it before, I'm saying it again, it's happening in each and every industry, either disrupt or be disrupted. And this holds for both startups, scale-ups, as well as corporates. The question, however, is, with our initiative, are we on track? Are we staying ahead of the game? Are we making it big? Are we becoming totally relevant for the rest of the world? Are we becoming Eindhoven, the default choice if you want to grow your business in the high-tech hardware area? Let's look at some numbers. So far, 49 young companies accelerated. We have a survival rate of 75%. Collectively, our portfolio has raised over 35 million euro in total funding. But what really matters is who is on the path to make it big. If we look at team size growing, investment, products hitting the market, we come up with 12. And I think these companies are all well on their way to make it big. Will they all succeed? Probably not. The fact here is that back to that number, 24% out of the total portfolio is getting on that fast growth curve. That means that we are moving towards our target. We want to generate 20 to 30 fast-growing companies, 20 to 30% of everything which goes through our portfolio. Startups struggling to raise funding, building their supply chain, nightmares on team build-up, team blow-up every now and then, and on the other hand, corporates, struggling to stay relevant. Relevant for their stakeholders, relevant for their clients, relevant for their employees. Now what happens if you find a way to bring those worlds together in a very meaningful, impact-making way? I think we start to understand what matters here. The perfect match might actually be to leverage the strength of these two worlds in a smart way. What we have figured out in the last 2 years is that when you apply our startup way of working and you apply that to internal research projects in bigger corporations, you do make impact. It goes much, much faster. Corporate environment is fantastic in some areas. It's all about knowing about global distribution, scaling up, global supply chains. That's totally relevant for young companies. Young companies typically are struggling with that. How to build that supply chain, how to build up global distribution. Now, if you bring these together, both benefit. The bigger corporates can learn from these agile, fast-moving young companies. And on the other hand, these young companies can learn a lot about design for reliability and scaling up and distributing globally. And that makes perfect sense. And we have been working on that. In the last 2 years alone, we had the pleasure to accelerate, with our methodology, 40 internal research projects. And we do that with different brands. We started with EY, Philips, ABN AMRO. Right now, we are also working with DSM teams and OC Canon teams. And it works. And the cool thing is that by applying this way of working, you drive a sustainable cultural change. And we all know changing the culture inside a corporate is a very, very difficult thing to do. And top-down change doesn't work anymore. Why? True inspiration and motivation comes from within. It cannot be dictated by the top. So if you start bottom-up and you work with researchers and you do it in such a way that you embrace a startup mentality on a project, you go much faster. On average, within Philips research projects 18 to 24 months on average before picked up by the business. With our methodology, we are proving that we can do this in just 3 months with a higher quality. But the real cool thing is, if you ask people participating in this program, would you recommend participating to this program to your dearest colleague? Yes or no? 100% score so far, yes. So it's not only making a lot of sense, it contributes to changing corporate culture in a meaningful way. And participants love it. We always said we need to be relevant for the best high-tech hardware companies in our areas in the world. It should not be that they dream about going to Silicon Valley. There is no reason for that whatsoever. We are equally good, probably better than Silicon Valley. But these people, these companies need to find us. So last year, during the last Excel Day, I announced the great partnership with Get in the Ring. And my gosh, this is a great partnership, and what an incredible organization. We gave ourselves a challenge. We started with Philips. We said, hey, what if we launch a challenge? Philips is looking for the best medtech companies in the area of respiratory and sleep and ultrasound imaging. What would happen if we do that? Together with Get in the Ring. Guess what? 3 weeks, 97 applications from all over the world. But it's not about the numbers, it's about the quality. So we had great fun together with Philips to go over that list, and what we discovered was 30 companies totally relevant for Philips. Totally relevant. We said, okay, let's invite the top 20. We had only 10 days in that moment to convince these teams to jump on a plane, pay their own ticket, and be with us for a full day. And we were worried whether we were going to make that. Took exactly 4 days to get all of them confirming, yes, we jump in the plane, yes, we come over, and yes, we would love to discuss with Philips. We picked a few winners, and with them, we're currently, together with Philips, accelerating their business. And then we said, well, okay, that works, MedTech. Let's make it a bit geekier. Let's go a little bit further. Let's go for ultra-cool technologies, specifically in the area of advanced mechatronica, robotics, precision engineering. Really, really the geeky stuff. Would it work again? It took a little bit longer. 88 applications, reviewed it. We selected 13 which are totally relevant for this region. We invited them to come over, picked 3 winners, and with them we're currently driving projects. It works, even if you do the geeky stuff. Now, we're doing it with ABN AMRO. Already 80 applications, and we know from the previous experience with Get in the Ring, the real peak comes later, in the last week. We close next week. Personally, I expect we're going to be way over 100 applications. So it really works. We just need to be smart. I told this before. We need to make the world known that we are doing this kind of stuff in Eindhoven and that we are totally relevant. It really, really works. It goes fast, it goes easy, and the quality is astonishing. So we need to scale that up. We had a discussion with our alliance members in the Eindhoven Startup Alliance, and we said, well, you know, if this works, we need to go climb faster and aim higher. And that's what we are doing. And the numbers are backing us up. I'm so proud of what we have achieved. It was blood, sweat, and tears. It almost cost me my marriage. It definitely closed down my social life. But it was all worth it. We started with 10 teams in 2013. We did another 10 in 2014. We learned a lot, especially the first editions. There were lots of areas for improvement. We then doubled it up in 2015. Last year, we did 60 projects. This year, we're going to do 181. This is a challenge, but we're rather optimistic that we are actually going to beat that number. Could well be that we end up higher. This is exponential growth. And it doesn't come easy because it puts a lot of stress and pressure on how are we going to maintain our level of quality. And for that, we have a great team. Before I go off stage and give the floor to amazing, cool companies, a few more things which are really, really important. We are launching a TV channel. Why? Because we have been making quite a lot of impact in written content distributed across the globe. So, that's great. But we see the whole content industry moving away from written content to video content. So it makes perfect sense to start our own online TV channel. In fact, we're live today. So, wave to the rest of the world. Hi! This is live streamed. The rest of the world is following us. It's kind of an experiment to see what is happening. By the way, RTL is also here, also live streaming. That makes me proud and humble. So that's gonna happen. The studio is up and running, and it's available. It's available for Eindhoven 365. It is available for Brainport. It's available for Dutch Design Week. Is Martijn in the house? Martijn? Yeah? You can have the studio also to promote your cool Dutch Design Week initiatives. We need to get these stories out in a better way, and we are going video and online. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's very simple to say, it's very difficult to do. Last year, around this time, we had a team of 10 people on the payroll, but with this hypergrowth, we need to scale up ourselves. I'm very proud that today our team has grown to 30 team members, but I'm more proud that in the team we have a 50-50% ratio guys-girls. And, yeah, you may applaud if you want. And we have 13 different cultural backgrounds. Now, why is this important? Research has shown that truly diverse teams in terms of gender and cultural background have a 70% higher chance to succeed in the market, regardless of in which industry you operate. So we want to keep this ratio. We want to be truly diverse, and we're going to grow like hell. We have a very inspiring advisory board. It's amazing to see these guys helping us and what they are willing to do to open up the doors and help us to overcome the struggles we are facing. Talking about inspiration, it also starts with the kids. There is an obligation to inspire kids at a very young age to be fascinated by technology. And we did a wonderful experiment with ABN AMRO. We said, what's going to happen with kids if we give them advanced technology and have them play with it? Kids in the age 6 to 12. We gave them development kits, and we gave them a charter. Now let me ask you a question. Who has ever built their own PC in hardware? Raise your hands. These kids are smarter than you. They did it. We taught them how to do it, and believe it or not, the fastest team within half an hour had assembled their PC and booted it up. That's amazing. We took it then one step further. We said, what if we give these kids, 6 to 12, software, tools, and we ask them to develop their own game? Who has ever developed their own game? Raise your hand. They did it. Fastest team, based on MIT intuitive software, launched their game within an hour. Incredible. We then said, well, can we make these kids program industrial robots? Who has ever programmed an industrial robot? Raise your hands. Probably all ASML. We made a floor plan of a factory. We said, you know, there is this robot. It needs to move from here to there, then turn 3 times, take 2 pictures, bleep blue, turn reversed direction, go with a parabol to this area, stay there 10 seconds, go back, go forth, take 4 pictures from all angles, and go back to this zone. Now, here you go. Here's your smartphone, here's the link, you can download the software. 1.5 hours later, the first team said, yeah, Guus, we've done it. I do not need to explain you what's going to happen when these kids are leaving university. We take this to the next stage. Together with ABN AMRO and some other alliance members, we are going to turn this into standard development kits, and we gave ourselves the mission to, as fast as possible, and if I'm concerned, within a year, have 100% of all Dutch primary schools covered with these kits, so that it can be taught as common practice on primary school level already. By the way, the guy facing us on the back, that's my son, Max, and he loves it. So 100% coverage, and I think that's making a positive impact. Now, we're growing like crazy, exponential growth, so yeah, we tend to be very demanding to participating startups, but also very demanding to us. We need to modify our goals. So accelerating 100 projects by 2020 is no longer good enough. We believe that we can do 1,000 projects per year and hit that mark by 2020. You all are very smart, you can do the math, you have seen 3x growth for 2 years in a row. Now, do the calculations, 2 more years of 3x growth, and then we're there. Is this aggressive? Yeah. Is it freaking me out, this number? Yeah, also a little bit, because this doesn't come idle. But I guarantee you, if we get our heart and soul behind it, and you help us, there's a fairly high chance that we are actually gonna make it. Maybe a year later, but it can be done, and it will be done, and we're not going to rest until it's done. And we have a strategic plan. In the end of the day, it's very simple. It's called doing things. I wish you a great afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guus.